Let's test it now again. Hello. There we go. Audio is fixed. And again, good morning, everyone. Monday market analysis, and it's been an interesting weekend, as you probably noticed. Let's start at the news sites. More and more mainstream news FUD about crypto, so that's a good sign. Usually means that we're near a bottom. For the rest, nothing really changed, and keep in mind US is a bank holiday today, because yesterday, Sunday, was national holiday, then the Monday following stock markets are closed. So we have a day without US stock markets. Obviously, some more international assets like gold and oil will be moving, and we will be having some pre-market data, but don't count on many big moves today. Looking at the calendar, relatively quiet week. Tomorrow existing home sales, that could be a nasty surprise. If the real estate bubble starts popping more, this should probably drop. We got on Wednesday, we got the Powell testimony for Congress, and also on Thursday, and those are pretty much the two on the week, and new home sales. So no major events, but especially when Powell speaks, it's always good to keep an eye on what he says, because he has quite some explaining to do at the moment. Let's switch to the charts, because they are usually more interesting. Let's see if they will load. Yeah, there we go. No, it's one of those Mondays with technical challenges. There we go, we have the charts. So as the headlines of this stream said, Dixie US dollar has been backtesting that 103-ish level, that 103, 104-ish level. Scrolling back in history, it has been quite significant in 17, where it peaked. And what do we see in the last month? We briefly broke it, got rejected, we broke it again, and we now seem to have successful backtest this zone between 103 or around 104. Will be interesting to see if this will bounce or the backtest will fail and continue down. If we are looking for downside targets on the DXY, we might be looking at 102-ish. Some downside move on the DXY would be good for stocks and crypto and other assets there. So definitely something to keep in mind. Interesting to see what will happen here. So far the bounce was a bit weak, but we could get another test, making a very low time frame local double bottom before continuing upwards. If we break down from current price, it's about 2% down. That's quite a bit for the DXY. Upside, there's really not much telling where it will go. I don't expect it to have a big pump upside, but you never know what Powell will say that can change that drastically. Government bonds seem to be on their way to backtested major 3% level. We topped out here, went down a bit, have a very weak bounce, not even passing the previous open. So I do expect this to go down to that 3%, and then is the big question, will we get a bounce up or will we go back to lower levels here? Target on the low side is probably 2.5%. Very good leading indicator for the stock markets. But today, obviously bank holiday, so don't count on big changes there. Nasdaq correlation still back to very high levels, 88% correlation with Bitcoin. So still no really breakout. Gold just sideways, but it did manage to put in a higher low, and just before that we did make a bit higher high, but we're in that sideways zone. In the VIP channel we had quite interesting discussion, more philosophizing about potential futures, where there's a good chance that some countries with a good gold reserve might switch to a gold-backed currency, blockchain based, obviously not decentralized, and still being able to print as much as they want if they can back it up with gold. And if you look at central banks in the last 10 years, they have been increasing their gold reserves drastically, while keeping the price pretty much suppressed around these levels for pretty much ever. So long-term gold outlook is, I'm still looking for that backtest of the 2K, and if we break out, we in the long run, like in the next years, we could run to 2600 at least. That's my end game target of the decennium old compound handle pattern that is still valid, but it's getting quite a long handle at the moment. But gold is always slow, so that's okay with me. Short term, we seem to be in a bit of a broadening wedge, and we will see more of those in other charts. Broadening wedge, neutral in direction, but upward, it's waiting for the breakout, and this is not a descending or ascending wedge, it's just a sideways broadening wedge. So not the best pattern to trade on, but it's just waiting for what happens. You could argue that we are having now a partial rise, not making it to the top, which could implicate a more drop to the downside. Potentially, let's see how that develops in the coming weeks. Currently, I don't see any trade edge to take a gold position at this moment in time. Bitcoin, we'll take a look at other charts. Bitcoin dominance perfectly hit those previous peaks here and there, and here the zone, and there and there. So very valid level. So far it found support there and it's jumping back up. Also on this daily we got a count 8, bullish count 8 on the TD sequential, and we will get a 9 tomorrow if we 1, 2, 3, 4, if we stay below 44.78. Again, 8 also valid, so if you're trading BTC dominance, wait for this trend momentum to flip upwards. Let's quickly look on the 4 hour. On the 4 hour we also had a 9 with momentum flip already. So lower time frames are pointing in that direction, but the daily, I think daily is very tradable for dominance. We are still waiting for those confirmations here. But looking good for a bounce. So Bitcoin remains the king of the crypto world. So if you are on Binance, I think you can trade BTC Dom USD. This could be a nice long entry with a potential at least 5 to this level, say 4.5 to 5% from current levels. But before trading, I'm waiting for confirmations here. Trend momentum flipping. We do have a nice array of exclamation marks, pivot warnings on trend profit there. So that definitely points towards a bottom. I expect trend momentum to flip probably today if the price keeps going, if the dominance goes up. Also waiting for that dot here on market hyper. So Bitcoin dominance is high probability trade to the upside. Longs, some longs chickened out, but not much movement. Some shorts getting closed. They obviously taking profit. Now price is back on the move. Market cap, what we said in last week's that the target was 800 billion. We exactly hit that one and we are bouncing up. We do have a bullish harmonic on the daily here. Black Swan, not the most known harmonic, but definitely valid. And we also are on a very strong support level, doing a 786 retrace if measured from this peak. If we pull it up to the highest peak, then we're still, we went past the 786 briefly, but we are currently exactly back at the 786. So also we identified this head and shoulders quite a time ago, and if you take that measured move from the point of breakdown, lo and behold, exactly the price, the target that we hit. So we have completed the measured move of the huge multi-month head and shoulder on total market cap. I think that's pretty darn amazing. That's one thing I love about classic technical analysis like this. For a long time it looked like we wouldn't get there, but this last leg was hitting the target and it bounced off it perfectly. Honestly, I forgot about this until I prepared for this Monday analysis, and it's just perfect hit. So that's another bullish argument there for the Bitcoin price. What happens if we fall below here? Well, there is pretty much no support until, let's the 5 low, pretty much 600. So from the current market cap to there, let's see how much price drop that is. From where we are now to that 600 level, it's another 30% drop. So let's all hope we can stabilize on this level, maybe make a double bottom in a few days later this week around this price. Well, it's not really the price on that market cap number. I have a lower a higher low around 780 or something. That would be a perfect confirmation also for this bullish harmonics, because it's not about your harmonic, it's the reaction of the harmonic. You want pretty much these types of returns. Double bottom confirmation of the bullish harmonic. So far there is not much volume in the bounce, so a backtest of these levels would be logical. And let's hope this level of 800 billion holds, because 600 billion is quite another steep drop down. Stock markets we don't have to look at, because we're not in an open market day. Looking at Bitcoin, if we look at that 30% downwards, that would bring us to the next support level of around 14k. So that is, if we break down the next target, obviously first target is a backtest of that 17.8, this previous bottom here. We are back into this descending Gann zone, so for me to flip bullish, we would have to break that previous peak and that Gann zone. So then you're talking about 22k to 23k zone. Before I'll even consider longs, that's the zone we need to break. That zone will get a bit tighter, a bit wider as time progresses, because the Ganns are descending, but this is the level to break before we can say that on the short term we are in a bullish narrative. Medium term you want to break pretty much 32k to be on a medium term bull trend, and obviously for a long term bull trend there's a lot of work to be done. You pretty much need to break 48k, 48.3k. But well, every reversal starts with a short-term trend reversal, and we definitely could be there. This could be a low, the spring, a bit of Wyckoff accumulation, the spring. So we should be able to run up to this zone here, do another test of the 20k before bouncing off, and that would be a very likely scenario. And like I said, in this weekend in my VIP lounge on Discord, it's weekend, so please be careful for a bear trap. And as we look at it now, this might be a perfectly executed bear trap. We went below the 20k, the magic level for so many people, that going below it will psychologically destroy a lot of people. And we dumped under it on Saturday, and on Sunday we instantly went back up, recovering quite a bit. So far this looks like a very good, well executed bear trap. A lot of late shorters went in after breaking 20k, and they're now stuck in their position in a loss. So Wyckofian speaking, you got the low, you got the spring, the back test of the spring around here but higher, then you kind of start zigzagging, accumulate, testing these levels, and you need to break these before running up. So is this a confirmed bottom? Not yet, but more and more things are starting to look like it. We can say that this was a fake out, and that the 20k support so far still held. Looking at some TD sequentials on several time frames, on the monthly we are having a 7. So before it a 9 reversal could be in, oh, that's one too far. We are in June now, July is the 8 and August will be the 9. Keep in mind the 9 is still valid if you close lower than 4 candles back, 1, 2, 3, 4. So as long as we close in August below say 38k roughly, then the 9 will be painted, and that's a very strong reversal sign. Because if we look in history, where did we ever get to a 7? We got to a 7 here in 19, but the 7 was already a start of the recovery. And we got to where is it? In the 2015 bottom in March, we also got to 7. Don't think we have any more history on this chart. So this is the 3rd time ever that we are reaching a count 7 on the monthly. In 15 we even made an 8, a bullish 8. So this was the only 8 ever. Previous bear market we only went to 7. We are at 7 now with a good chance to reach 9 even. That would be the longest downtrend TD sequential wise ever on the monthly. Keep in mind, it doesn't have to be like that. Without breaking the sequential, we could have 2 upsloping candles already, as long as we don't break 38k pretty much. What was the low? 37,600. Then it will paint that 9 here. So on the monthly, July, August, we could go a bit sideways lower, we could go higher without breaking this count. What is more interesting, on the weekly we did paint a 9, but we overshot it a bit. We are getting some, on the 3-day, we are getting some bullish counts. We already had them on the daily. We got a bit of a double bottom, double 13s on the 12-hour. We got a double 13 on combo and sequential on the 8-hour. On the 4-hour we had a whole cluster of countdowns and now also a 9 setup. So things are aligning more and more, pointing to some upwards price action. I don't say this was the bottom, I never claim any certainties, but the chance that this was the bottom and we are experiencing a Wyckofian bottom here with a fake out being the spring, the chances are increasing with the price action at the moment. So very interesting to watch. Also interesting, like we saw in gold, had a horizontal expanding wedge. Here we have a descending. On Bitcoin 4-hour we have a broadening descending wedge. And if we look in the Trader's Bible, the Encyclopedia of Chart Patterns by Thomas Bulkowski, it will show us that if we break down, then it is a short-term bearish continuation. So if it breaks down, it's usually not a very long continuation of the bull market or the bear market. If we break up, it's usually a long-term bullish reversal. So let's hope we break out. upward. And also the average rise after breaking up to the upside was, I think, something like almost 40%. So if we would break out here and we go to 40%, that will bring us at 30 or just above 30k again. I wouldn't mind that. So that's the average rise from a bullish breakout of this broadening descending wedge. Definitely would watch this pattern developing. If we break out to the upside, of course, it won't go straight up horizontally. What we're always looking for is testing the top of this structure here, backtesting the point of breakout, and then having a volume supported bounce. So breaking above here would be a nice lower time frame scalp. I think if we break, we could do some long scalping with very decent percentage upwards to the descending resistance, the top of the wedge. And if you're lucky, it will push through even higher towards probably the 23k, I would imagine, as a psychological level. So that's a solid 10% move here. Finally, US oil fund. I'll skip the FTX because the market is closed. Perfect. TA, we had that bearish harmonic. We had account 13 on the daily, and we went down to exactly backtest the top of this ascending triangle here. This is what you're looking for as a break, as a pattern trader. This is very, very good. So we're at entry levels. Now we just have to wait for some price action confirmation. We got count 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we still have some space to go up and increase in that count. We are looking for that percentage R to cross its moving average. We are looking for trend momentum to go to the upside. Maybe 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Still quite some count to go. That's why I'm not entering just yet. I really want this count to be broken to paint a green count with the price action confirmation before you can enter. Some nice volume. Strength index, I haven't ever covered this yet. It's something new I'm working on. It's outside its standard deviation bands, and we're looking for it to cross back in. So that's another confirmation I am experimenting with. So US oil fund looks like a nice entry as soon as we get some confirmations in. Lovely trade setup for longer term. Target is still $100 on that. So if we manage to catch it from, say, we need some price confirmation and we enter around, let's take it rough, that we'll be really conservative in our entry. We start at 85, then the 100 is royal 17% to the upside, and that's the first target here, the measured move of that triangle, and also a very major psychological level, obviously. So that's it for today. Interestingly enough, while speaking, we did get that slightly higher high here on the 1 hour. And now things are getting exciting. If we break past the below the high of the previous high, there's usually another pullback to the downside here. So let's watch this level. We're getting closer to the top of that descending, broadening wedge there, where I might do some small risky trades in this zone, but we'll wait for big trades, for bigger positions, for this pattern to break. Obviously, if we break this 20k again, there's a good chance we will go for another test of the bottom. So interesting pattern, interesting fake out during the weekend. Hope nobody got caught in fresh shorts. I might do a quick tomorrow afternoon. I might do a quick live stream just before US market open to see where we stand on those, because we couldn't. There's no data to cover yet in this live stream. That's it for this morning. Take care trading. Enjoy the price action and respect your stop loss. And I'll see you in the Discord. If you haven't joined there, it's a great place to hang out.